we had done something smaller in a sense for a show on History Channel called History's Greatest Heights. So we had some knowledge of what we wanted to do. However, it was one crazy day of filming with one day of prep to do all this intense work. And it's in a fight scene, and there's different looks within that one environment. So it's fascinating because you're creating this environment, this world for the actors to play in.
This is the Cinematography for Actors podcast.
More than a podcast, Cinematography for Actors is a vibrant community devoted to bridging the gap between talent and crew. Each week, our show offers transparent, insightful conversations with industry leaders. We unveil the magic behind the scenes, from candid discussions about unique filmmaking processes to in-depth technical exploration. Join us in unraveling the intricacies of filmmaking, one episode at a time. It's more than just cameras and lenses. We aim to inspire, educate, and empower as we peel back the curtain on the art of effective storytelling. Now on to the episode.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another special episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast here on the couch at Mammoth Film Festival. I am seated with a large amount of the team from the film Fluxx. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to run through names so you know who they are. We have someone that our community knows already. It's Kieran.
Yep.
Kieran Murphy. I didn't look at you. That's a problem. This is Kieran Murphy. And then we have Lance Paul. And you guys met Shiloh Fernandez already. Shelley Hennig and Gabriel Murphy and Jeff Perkins and Rick Rifle. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into Fluxx. We have 15 minutes. Okay, first of all, Shelley, will you give us a little log line of Fluxx? Tell us what it's about.
No. But Brendan would
Okay, Brendan wants to. Or I can do it, but I think one of you is going to do a much better job. Yeah.
That's me and Shelley's deal.
Yeah.
Is that I talk about Fluxx and she talks about the character.
Okay, sounds great.
So Fluxx is a psychological thriller. It's blanketed under subgenres.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a roller coaster ride of a film. It came about during COVID. Because we were all stuck in our houses, and it's about an actress who's at home who cannot leave her home, and every time she tries to leave her home, she gets looped back into her bathtub, and all of a sudden you know something strange is going on, and she starts getting visited by these different characters. Once you start getting through the story, and you start seeing that these people that are visiting her, it almost has a Wizard of Oz kind of effect.
Mm-hmm.
And we start tying her past through flashback into the story, which you understand, like, it becomes a movie about movies. And that's the fun thing about it. It's a movie about movies. And we tap into kind of the ins and outs of the entertainment business. But the tagline is "Fame is a nightmare." And the whole thing is that I'm really trying to explore the dark side of the Hollywood dream.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the summary of what Fluxx is. Yeah.
Boom. That's amazing. I feel like
pass it to him.
Our last interview, you finally figured. Practice makes perfect.
amazing.
By the way, Shiloh's my best friend, so
Okay.
we've been friends for forever.
So I think that it is so much fun to see movies about movies at a film festival because, you know, everyone here is going to just eat it up. They're going to love. But I think that something that is also very exciting is this is being talked about as a genre blending film.
It is.
What genres can we expect?
So that's the fun part about the movie. There's not many films that have done that. Like Kill Bill is one of them. But yeah, there's drama,
Mm-hmm.
there's horror, there's sci-fi.
What is this one? Noir.
No, definitely noir.
Suspense.
And suspense.
Okay.
And it's and it's a thriller. Shelley plays 4 different roles in the film, and two of the characters she plays opposite herself.
Yeah.
And being able to watch her play opposite herself with stand-ins, and then me being the editor going in and editing it and seeing how seamless the performances are, you can't even tell. It looks like she's really there with herself, and it's that to me just blows my mind that she can do that, and not even that, work with a double or a stand-in and be able to give that performance when she's not getting it back, and she's the one that has to give it back to herself later. That's insane to me. She was proud though.
Yeah, that's a huge
I mean, I've
shift.
never seen an actress like her. Like, she was literally playing so many different characters, and each character had its own identity too. And she would ask questions. She knew more about some of these characters than I think even Brendan, and he wrote them, and that was amazing to me.
So actually, then
It's
I
not
have a
true,
question about
but-
your process here, about this process of playing 4 different characters.
Sure.
How are you working technically? Does your communication change with the crew from character to character? Are you changing the way you're working with the lens differently? Are you making different choices about how you're, revealing yourself or not, depending on the character? And is that a lot to keep track of?
When you started the question, the word collaboration came into my head. There was so much that I had to do, but I really did have the support of these guys. I'm not just like blowing smoke. Like, I'm not sure I would have had that same freedom on another set. Maybe I would. I probably would. But this one was, I don't know. You didn't have to ask for anything twice.
Right.
Everyone was respectful. I had Kieran behind camera with me 24/7. Brendan and I, and he made me laugh. Like, I don't know. I just went with the flow. Like, there was so much to do and so little time that I did have a lot of notes, like physical notes, because all my characters are on either they smoke cigarettes or it's marijuana, or it's, honestly, I had to do so much research about drugs. The hardest part was doing a line of coke in the movie. Thank you for
online research.
No, I have notes in my phone, and it's like drugs, and then it's like all the different things.
How to do drugs.
It was a lot of
correctly.
physical stuff that I had to figure out. But I just took it day by day, scene by scene. Brendan and I would talk before every scene. We would have a little conversation, and I've never been that way, but there were so many elements in this movie that I just had to not get too past. I just had to be in the moment and just take it as it comes, and I just had all the support in the world.
That's being able to trust your crew like that.
Trust your crew and
something.
trust yourself. And Shiloh and I have been around for a while. I've always wanted to work with Shiloh, so that was such a added bonus.
That's wonderful.
And I really love the way that we work, and it just, we're just really, really proud.
Now, we're so excited to have a production designer here today because we don't normally get that. Can we actually talk about your process with Brendan, how you created this? There are so many different genres, so many different visual hurdles probably that you had to jump. How did you two do that together?
Well, it's always starting with a script.
And
I come from theater, so my background is characters, and I'm playing around with these two and hoping that I'm landing on some environments that work, because when you're an independent, you don't have a month and a half of prep time and previs and what do you think of this, and the actors can come in and comment. No, it's a 30-minute Zoom call to Hawaii, and I'm meeting my set decorator for the first time, and what do I think I want to do? Do we have photos of the location yet? No, we don't. Okay. How about that? You're swinging wide and you're hoping that you get it. And in those Zoom conversations, I'm very intensely writing notes and trying to see what he repeats at least a couple of times. I'm like, pay attention to that, pay attention to that. And then you try to land on a visual or environmental thread. In this case, it was water. Because of the bathtub gag. And then there's a pool thing that happens later. I'm like, okay, Brendan's repeated water a number of times now, so water's going to have to happen here. How am I dealing with water? People don't have reflecting pools in their bedrooms. Well, James Bond villains, maybe, but not in this circumstance. So we landed on, remember all the drapes? Yeah. 80 panels of cotton linen drapes shipped over from Los Angeles to Hawaii that me and my team sat and Shibori-dyed. Yes, I was in the dye room doing it because we needed that. Shibori-dyeing will give you this image of kind of like the reflection of water on the bottom of a pool.
Okay.
And so these were placed all throughout the main location, and they popped up in other locations that you weren't aware that we were doing because I didn't tell you. So they're very secretly kind of in places to keep this wet aquatic nightmare of hers flowing throughout. So that's like one, you know, and could we expand on that if we had a $200 million? Hell yeah, we could. I mean, we can do all sorts of stuff, but with an indie, you swing wide, you try to land on something, you hope you get it right. And you hope that when the actors walk into it, that it's not even something that they are paying attention to. It just feels right and they can move along with it.
We have some exciting news. CFA has teamed up with We Make Movies to get you a discount on production management services, including access to comprehensive production insurance and workers' comp for your next shoot. Visit wemakemovies.org/insurance and use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote.
He also brought that element into all the sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
Because the sci-fi, the way we set it up, it's like a submerged science
I
fiction
totally
apartment.
forgot that
And
the
it's
biggest
half
part
in
of-
I'm
water,
forgetting my own
and then
set.
Forgot about that.
the vibe was all water. And so it all kind of ties into everything, and that's a tribute
also-
to Rick's
so
talent.
Also,
Rick,
too, we worked on a budget, a very small budget, working on volume stages. And Rick, you did amazing work in building a whole set, building volume stage, and then having that aquatic underwater city right
There
behind
were
it.
very panicked moments.
Oh, I know. I know.
There was a lot of stress going on in this movie. But I worked with Rick on my first movie ever about 7 years ago when I first came to Hollywood. And I worked on 4. This is like our 4th project together. And he's a freaking genius. Like he knows so much about movies. He's so intertwined with everything, and he's amazing.
Oh,
And he's a goddamn artist. And he's a good friend. And I just can't speak highly enough of him.
it's a shame because I didn't speak highly of you in that first pilot. I was like, who is this
Oh
lunkhead
no.
in a police uniform? Who cast this guy?
So I want to know then for the actors, even though, production designer doesn't want you to walk in and be like, oh, this is water, but do you feel like it informed a little bit of your decisions? Like you felt that feeling when you were there on the day?
Yeah, it was incredible what they did. I mean, truly mind blowing. I mean, we've made short films starting like 19 years ago with nothing. So the fact that there was a real set and it looked incredible was sort of on its own, just to me, sort of overwhelming. Because you're just like, wait, my friends are actually pulling off something really incredible. The volume stage thing, I don't know if you guys have ever talked about the volume. And
We
shooting
have
on
a
the
little
volume.
bit, and I
Okay.
wish Indiana were in here to help you talk about
Right.
it because she's got a lot to say. Come on,
Yeah.
I was literally gonna talk to her and be like,
I'll trade you out.
get out their volume.
Tap now.
Hi everyone, it's Indiana from Cinematography for Actors.
Hello.
Joined with a wonderful Kieran Murphy, who I want to talk about volume work as well. So continue because I
No,
want to talk about this.
Yeah, that set was just so incredible. And I think green screen stuff has always sucked. It's not super fun. So having an environment that they created was incredible. And then to walk onto that set where you're like, wait, it's a computer and it's a screen. But the way that works now and the fact that you actually feel like you're in an environment was kind of incredible. And I knew that's what they wanted to do the whole
I'd
time.
like to give
so
a
it was
shout
cool.
out to AJ Wedding and Orbital Studios because they were an integral part of helping us out make this. And from the beginning, AJ and I are really good friends, and that's how I met this character over here. And they really did. They really helped us out a lot. And it looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Orbital came through for us big time.
That's awesome.
So thank you, Orbital. And AJ.
Yeah, I know it was
Mark
a lot
away.
of fun working on a stage like that because we had done something smaller in a sense for a show on History Channel called History's Greatest Heights. So we had some knowledge of what we wanted to do. However, it was one crazy day of filming with one day of prep to do all this intense work. And
Yeah.
it's in a fight scene and it's not even that. There's different looks within that one environment. So there's like a whole, sunset scene, then it turns into evening. So it's fascinating because you're creating this environment and this world for the actors to play in. It's like this awesome sandbox where you can just create all these little like sandcastles and stuff. But it's about being in it and feeling it. And for them, I think, and for me, it just comes to life more than if you were enhancing like green screen or even like a practical location, because we're able to like maintain that look consistently. So we were able to kind of move forward and as quickly as possible.
Green screens
'cause-
suck.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's hard,
Volume work,
you know.
Amazing.
Well, until the volume is being persnickety, and then you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
choice. But
And you gotta go
And
back
you
to
could
your
shut it
green.
down and wait 30 minutes and it comes
well,
back up. Yeah.
volume design is a very different horse
Yeah.
to work on. This was my 7th volume shoot. Kieran, this was your second?
Yeah.
Second.
Mhm.
Kieran and I both, me, Kieran, this one did History Sites together. A very different way of working with the set, very different way of working with the actors, but still the same technology. So how does, it's adaptable to a degree. You have to sort of like learn to play with it and then learn how to break it.
Yeah.
To learn how to play with it again,
it's big as in pre-production, so you're thinking about what you want, and it all has to happen beforehand because that's what's showing up on the screen, right? So whereas green screen, you can be like, oh, maybe I have some city in the background and there's the sun or something. So for this, you really had to be specific. And Brendan and I we had talked about this for a long time. We saw some concepts. We're like, oh, what would be cool for a futuristic apartment? And then sitting with Rick, we're like, oh,
trying
we
to do
want
something
this.
different.
Yeah, something
too,
different, unique.
And I gave you this was the fun part of that.
Yes.
I took 130-year-old trick that George Méliès invented and married it to 21st century. We had a hanging foreground ceiling. So when you see the film, the ceiling is a 1/4 scale model.
Yeah.
All forced perspective. Yep.
And that was the most incredible thing that I'd ever. I was like, it was like a model. It was a model in front of the camera that made it a ceiling. It was so
Because you have to get it right in camera.
And it worked. Yeah.
Well, George Méliès.
Yeah.
The crazy thing was we had the model like 2 years before when we first initially started shooting, and I remember Rick was telling me, "Oh, we got the model, we got this," and I'm paid for it because I'm putting out the money, and hadn't seen it, and I had no idea really what the hell it was, and he kept telling me forced perspective. So then we get there, and I see this model, I'm like, and I see what the shot looks like. It was so amazing.
Cool.
It is one of those things where you have to see it in camera to believe it, because like you look at it from like the 3-dimensional world with outside of the camera, and you're like, okay, these are the physical props that we're going to interact with. Here's the physical set. How much depth do I want to create? And then what is the responsibility of adding in all the Unreal artists and everyone in order to create the world behind us that is going to sell when we look through that viewfinder?
Well, there was a bigger reason to do the model too, because we've all seen, behind the scenes on The Mandalorian with the LED ceiling.
Yeah.
LED ceilings are a pain in the ass. Unless you have something that reflects onto it.
Yeah.
DPs don't like them.
Yeah.
Because you cannot get light
up there
over or you can't do anything interesting. So I was like, I can't tie Kieran's hands. There are battle scenes. There are like private scenes between two people that are very intimate and dark. And, we're not gonna be able to pull that off with the ceiling.
Yeah.
So I did the hanging foreground miniature, opened the whole space up for him that way. And he had a whole new sandbox to play with, I hope.
So great.
It's nice when it's just an extension of the set, instead of being the whole Unreal like world. There's nothing against that, but it's nice that it wasn't green screen and it created that. So when they're looking out the window, when Shelley sees this whale coming across, you're actually physically have an eye line and a movement of what's going on, instead of being like a tennis ball or somebody in the background walking like, in a green screen suit or something. Oh, there's the whale,
Emote to the tennis ball, Shelley. Emote to the tennis ball.
I mean, I'm used to that. That's usually what the experience is. I mean, look, Kieran, you made this indie look very expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you all did, but your lighting.
We all did. It was a teamwork.
Do you remember the whale though? Brendan wanted your hand at a very specific place. And even though it was there in real life, we couldn't get the hand. I'm like, just put your hand down. I know he wants you. I know it looks like... Anyways, I remember. I know. I tried.
Oh, no fair.
Maybe you didn't give me enough props to work with.
Throw another prop in there. You all rock, and I can tell that this was a wonderful collaborative piece because of just like the relationship on the couch and the chemistry here. So thank you so much. We are so excited to see it. I think we have tickets tonight for it. So tonight is at 8 p.m. or 8:30? 8:30. So Fluxx tonight, 8:30. And I'm sure you'll be able to see it after Mammoth every festival, and if not, soon for distribution. So thank you all
just
so
a real
much.
quick shout out to everybody who couldn't make it because of the blizzard, like my sister Caitlin Bidwell, and everybody else.
Yeah, we're missing Keontae.
Keontae, our co-writer, because of the blizzard, and our composer Nicholas Fitzgerald, Mary Simmons, one of our actors, and Emily Tremaine Fernandez,
who's having
Shiloh's
a baby shower
wife.
tomorrow.
Congrats.
Baby shower tomorrow.
The
whole gang. We love you and miss you all.
Fantastic. Congrats, everybody. Amazing. This is all good news today. Thanks, everyone, so much. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Join us in bridging the gap between talent and crew. Start by subscribing on your preferred podcast platform, sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on vendor discounts, community events, and new podcast releases, and educate yourself through our free course releases on YouTube. It all starts at cinematographyforactors.com. And if you like this episode, consider leaving a review to make it easier for other listeners to find us.